Are just some of the cars that we're not going to see in 2020, mainly because the massive push for hybrid or fully electric motors, which looks like it's going to become the industry standard in the next decade. So unfortunately, these awesome cars are going to be discontinued. And so I've outlined 6 ideal cars plus an honorable mention that you're just going to have to buy used from here on out. It's great to see you guys again. Let's go. I really think that this is one of the best sedans BMW has ever made. It's like the M5, but better looking, and it has the power to back it up with a twin turbocharged 4.4 liter V8 pushing out 560 horsepower. Now, the way that it gets that long design language is because it's based on the 7 Series underpinnings. And because the roof is so low, there's a good chance you're gonna bang your head getting out of the driver's seat for the first time. But that's the magic in this coupe, because it gives that 4-door sedan a coupe look. And one of the coolest things on the Gran Coupe is the carbon fiber roof panel, which is just eye candy for us enthusiasts. Now, you can get the DCT transmission, but for no extra cost, you could get a 6-speed manual transmission and row your own gears, which nowadays, because they're pretty much just going extinct, and you can see what else is going extinct, it's pretty cool. And if you mash the pedal to the floor, 0 to 60 comes in 3.7 seconds. And as far as the interior goes, it can sorta kinda fit 5 grown adults, but as far as the quality and fit and finish, it is 100% BMW. And just talking about the M6 Gran Coupe, I could totally see myself rolling in one of these. But they're gonna be discontinued in 2019, so the only option is to buy used, which is more my style anyways, because then I can get the ideal M6 Coupe for the ideal price. And I can get the optional $6,000 competition package for just pennies on the dollar. Let's go. Who else is a wagon enthusiast here? Yeah, me too. And Cadillac already did away with the CTSV sports wagon, which was the least fuel efficient small station wagon in the USA. I don't understand why. But Cadillac got rid of that family hauler a few years ago, and now the sedan is next on the list. But this baddie sporting a 6.2 liter LT4 supercharged V8, which means it's the most powerful Cadillac ever produced, is essentially known as the 4-door Corvette among enthusiasts, which makes complete sense because it's just 10 horsepower less than the C7 Z06, which is absolutely bonkers. And believe it or not, the CTSV sedan has a top speed of 200 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 takes just 3.6 seconds. Man, there is nothing that sounds like a supercharged V8. But unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. And we have to say bye-bye to the CTSV, because Cadillac is making room for this car, the CT5, built on the Alpha 2 platform. Why yes, it is Cadillac's new luxury sedan, but let's face it, it's not gonna have anything on the CTSV. Let's, for memory's sake, listen to that supercharger whine just one more time. And now it's time for the ideal question of the day. And since most of the cars that we're talking about today are being replaced by either hybrid or totally electric variants, will you consider an electric car as your next vehicle purchase? Why or why not? Let us know down in the comments. There are very few cars out there, unless we're talking about a Mazda Miata, because we all know that Miata is always the answer, that are more fun to drive than the Ford Fiesta ST. It's a gas-sipping, front-wheel drive, pint-sized ball of fun that only comes in a manual transmission. Stock, it has decent pep, thanks to this turbocharged 1.6 liter 4-cylinder pushing out 197 horsepower, which, believe me, isn't gonna set any land speed records, since 0 to 60 comes in 6.5 seconds. But that doesn't really matter, because this is an extremely forgiving chassis that allows amateurs and professionals alike to test the limits of adhesion. And curvy roads are exactly where this Fiesta ST is right at home. It has one of the most playful demeanors of any car that I've ever driven. And it's sad that Ford's doing away with one of its best kept secrets. Oh, and I almost forgot. It is also the son of a rally car, which probably explains why it's so dang fun. It really is sad knowing that Ford's gonna discontinue pretty much all passenger cars except for the Mustang and their trucks. I guess this decade's gonna be a lot more fun than the 2020 and beyond. This car has been around for a few too many years, and even with a ton of Botox, it's starting to show its age. Yeah, we're talking about the Maserati Gran Turismo, with extreme Italian styling and a Ferrari-derived V8. It was once an irresistible, high-performance Grand Tourer, but there was just one thing that I could never get over, and that is its front end. Doesn't it kind of look like a catfish mouth? Regardless of what you think of the looks, we can't debate over the performance, because the 4.7 liter V8 pumps out 450 horses and literally sounds insane. There's nothing really quite like a naturally aspirated V8 either. And mash the go pedal to the floor, and 0 to 60 comes in 4.7 seconds. Now finally, after a decade, the last example of the Gran Turismo has rolled off the assembly line, and it's called the Zeta, this blue, black, and white commemorative piece of what once was. And that's because Maserati in 2020 is gonna reinvent itself with hybrid and electric drivetrains, which kind of seems like the case for every auto manufacturer today. We were just talking about Maseratis with Ferrari engines. Well, Ferrari would like to have a word about discontinuing its own insanely successful model. Now we all remember this iconic Ferrari, the Ferrari F40 with its twin-turbo 2.9 liter V8. And believe it or not, the Ferrari 488 GTB, which arrived in 2015, was the first turbo-assisted mid-engine Ferrari since the legendary F40. And although it just looks like a facelifted 458, it's still one of the most beautiful cars ever made. And this powerful prancing horse has a bi-turbo 3.9 liter pumping out 661 horses with pretty much zero turbo lag. Now, I gotta warn you, this car doesn't sound as good as its naturally aspirated older brother, but I'll let you be the judge. Because 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds sounds like this. See, I told you it still sounds pretty good. And although it was a short run with the 488 for Ferrari, I wouldn't necessarily be sad, because it's being replaced by this, the Ferrari F8 Tributo. And with 710 horsepower, I think it's going to turn the supercar game on its head. Ferrari just keeps pushing the envelope, and I wouldn't expect anything different. And now it's time for the honorable mention. It's always sad to see the rise and fall of a legend, and the Volkswagen Beetle has been an automotive icon for decades. With its happy-go-lucky styling and honey badger attitude, it's easy to see why it's been around for so long. Heck, it's so legendary, there's even a game named after it. Hey, red slug bug, no tag backs. Unfortunately, people want crossovers and SUVs today, and sales for the Volkswagen Beetle have been abysmal for the last few years, essentially giving Volkswagen no choice but to squash the Beetle and start focusing more on what the people actually want. The Rolls-Royce Ghost shares about 20% of itself with this car, the 760 Li, BMW's twin-turbocharged flagship if you ever did see one. And yet, the Rolls-Royce Ghost is not a souped-up BMW at all, because the company's best-selling model is the ultra-luxurious roller composed of a ton of exotic materials and design language that just shouts that you're rich. Literally, from every angle, this thing looks expensive. And that's probably because it is. Pop open the hood and you'll see a twin turbocharged V12 with 563 horsepower staring right back at you. And if you or your chauffeur smashes the gas, 0 to 60 comes in under 5 seconds. But here's the thing, in car years, it's really quite old. because the, dare I say, mid-range Rolls-Royce was introduced in 2009, which was a decade ago. And well, its time has come to an end, and it'll most likely be replaced by either a hybrid or fully electric mid-tier Rolls. And if you're ready to shift gears and learn all about the different car door designs, like the suicide doors that are featured on the Rolls-Royce Ghost, check out this video about 9 car door designs that you must know if you're a true enthusiast, or check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, but either way, you can't lose, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.